I'd like to ask you a question, if I may, about why you're running for mayor of Palm Springs, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm running for mayor because I think this city needs somebody who's honest and who can lead it and who shoot from the hip. And
please.
You're welcome. And
Sonny ran for the mayor spot in the spring of 1988. I'd been here 8 years and was clearly part of what you might say was the establishment, because that's what Sonny ran against. He ran against the establishment. He was upset with the city for some things that had to do with some property he owned, his restaurant and his house.
I moved to Palm Springs. I was going to open a restaurant and retire with my beautiful wife and raise a family. And I had to get a sign for the restaurant, and it became the biggest task I ever attempted in my life. And eventually, the only solution I could come to get it done was to run for mayor and fire the person that I had been dealing with.
We ran him on one of our covers with Mary, and they had just married. And I had a council person come in and pound on my desk, how could you give this man credibility by running him on the cover of your magazine?
He announced early on he would be running. A lot of people thought that he wouldn't have a chance. But he clearly did, and he was overwhelmingly elected mayor. We didn't talk much the first few weeks because he didn't trust City Hall, and he therefore didn't trust me. He allowed the opportunity to gradually establish a relationship with him by talking. He talked about his own background, where he'd come from, and then gradually talked more about city things. So he gave me a chance, and we worked out a very good working relationship for the remaining time that I was here.
I've known Sonny for a good many years. He used to come down here when he was still doing his television show in the late 60s and 70s. He was a man that what you would call that got things done. There was no anything stood in his way. If he thought it was right and it needed to be done, he would get it done and thought he could achieve it.
He wanted to not clean out City Hall, but he wanted to make it more efficient. He wanted to market the city. He wanted to create events in the city that would attract people, and he wanted to turn around what was somewhat of a declining or certainly stagnant economic situation, because so much of the new growth in that period of time was going in the areas that had room for development, which means down valley, as was called then, Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage, La Quinta. So that whole migration of some of the new development was occurring when Sonny came into office. I think the thing that most Palm Springs people will always remember him for is bringing the Palm Springs Film Festival, which is, well, quite a story, because that's something he's made during the campaign, that he wanted to establish a quality film festival in Palm Springs to attract people, fill hotel rooms, etc.
He thought Palm Springs, with its name and its easy access to the entertainment industry, just up 100 miles up the road, would be a great venue.
But he realized he had to negotiate, he had to sell this project to the council, who were somewhat reluctant, but he sold it. He raised the money, and then just 8 months after he was elected, we actually had the film festival, and has continued ever since, and gotten bigger and better every year. It envisions everything I think that Sonny had hoped that it would happen. Sonny was elected for Congress in 1994.
It was an amazing thing. He was elected as a Republican, and it was a Republican Congress at that time. And Sonny became the fair-haired boy at any event in Washington, D.C., because he could get up and give 10 minutes of comedy, and it would be a refreshing change from what most speakers have back there.
And one of my biggest fears is that the pulpit may be too tall. So I'm very happy today. This is a low one, so you get to see my face.
There were some pretty nasty things said about him by the Washington media occasionally. And Sonny's basic response to all that was that some people just have a need to put you down, they're going to be negative, and don't let it bother you. Now, it bothered him some, but Sonny's intelligence was underestimated. His biggest contribution to problem solving, I think this was true in the committees he was on in Congress, was that at the right moment he could say something and everyone would loosen up and have a chance then to back out of the personal conflicts that had come and work it through. He just had that knack for helping a group loosen up.
Sonny, if you would call it a fault, he would aim high, try to accomplish as much as he could, and sometimes he couldn't do that. His target would be higher than really was achievable at the time. He was in the prime of his life. He had beautiful children, a great wife, and the fact that a tree got in the way in a skiing accident was tragic. They had a very big funeral. We had dignitaries from all over the United States, of course, the Washington political scene. There were a number of speeches. Cher gave part of the eulogy. It was a great event, and Sonny would have been proud of it.
Sonny Bono was a person who believed that life was a series of comebacks, and that was certainly true of himself, where many times his career went down, his restaurant went down, whatever, he came back. And to do that, he had to believe in himself, and that's what he was constantly telling me, and I think others. Believe in yourself and go for your vision, and it'll make it work.